Okay, it's time for some patched-in spirits, most of which are representing Switch games that have come out recently. So, first we have Princess Peach from Paper Mario: The Origami King, a game in which Peach is folded into origami, brainwashed by the titular king, and serves an antagonistic role. A friendlier face from said game is Olivia. Olivia, despite being the sister of the Origami King, serves as your floating sidekick. She doesn't agree with what her brother is doing, and she teams up with Mario in order to stop him. So, yeah, for this battle, this is representing the main party you get in the Origami King. You have a small, ineffective Bowser to represent how Bowser himself is folded up and made kind of useless. You had Mario there, of course. You have Bob-omb spawning in to represent the Bob-omb who joins your squad, Bobby. And yeah, once sort of... God damn it, Bobby. You just blew yourself up. Foreshadowing. Yeah, once all of those are dealt with, we then have Olivia being played by Pikachu, who is very floaty, to represent how Olivia is literally always floating around off the ground. That said, not great for Smash. So, King Ollie. This is the Origami King, and yeah, he tries to take over the world of Paper Mario by folding everything up and turning it into origami. He does so with the help of standard desktop utensils, who serve as the main bosses, and Pac-Man here is the stapler. Pac-Man is here representing a stapler, so yeah, Origami King is one of the best Paper Mario games in a while. Yeah. So here we have Duran and Angela. These are two of the protagonists in Trials of Mana. Recently released for the Switch, Trials of Mana is an action RPG and is a remake of Secret of Mana 3. As for this battle, you had two Kirbys to represent the Rabbite enemies, your basic enemies, and the Ramblin' Mushrooms, which are spawning in, to represent the Mushbooms, also standard enemies. And Roy and Zelda are representing Duran and Angela, Duran being a mercenary, and Angela being a princess. So, yeah, maybe Ike would have been a better choice than Roy, since, you know, Ike is a mercenary, but it's honestly negligible. Anyway, this fight is not particularly hard because the Ramblin' Mushroom completely ruined both of them. Here, we have another two party members from said game, Kevin and Charlotte. Kevin is the Prince of Ferolia and a Beast Man, so you have Incineroar representing him, being a big, strong, beastly man. And you have Charlotte, who is a half-elf, and she's also a cleric. So we have a very small Robin representing Charlotte. Sadly, Robin doesn't talk in, like, Uwu language, which is sad because Charlotte does. But, you know, again, you can't have perfect spirit battles. You can't get perfect representations of Trials of Mana. So, yeah. Anyway, this very small wizard is giving me quite a few problems, it turns out. Like, this stage is irritating to navigate around at the best of times, and I keep getting bapped with perfectly aimed little shots of things, like be they Hellfires or stray books, and yeah, this fight got on my nerves just a little bit, but I stuck with it out of sheer stubbornness. Usually, at this point, considering that you can now rematch battles, if I have a bad run, I'll just do the fight again. Anyway, over here, we have Hawkeye and Reese. I really hope I said that correctly. Hawkeye is a thief, and also promotes into a ninja after oh so many levels, so Sheik is kind of the perfect representation for Hawkeye. And Reese is a warrior princess, so representing her, we have a Mii sword fighter wearing Princess Peach's hair. Warrior princess. Okay, apparently there were no warrior princess characters in Smash, which... Surely Corrin? Corrin could have fit that bill. Corrin's, you know, female Corrin's a warrior princess, so you know. But anyway, this fight can be a little bit annoying because of the random earthquakes. The reason for those is because Hawkeye is a ranger. And as a ranger, Hawkeye has the ability Rockfall, which, you know, is an earth-based earthquake rock attack. So, yeah. Also, you'll notice that time is running down in this encounter, so I only have, 23 seconds to finish this. So, yeah, good thing I'm about to do it in 3, 2, 1. Get dunked. There we are. So over here, we have some Animal Crossing New Leaf spirits. I didn't get all of them in the last episode. Here we have, did I say New Leaf? I mean New Horizons, the Switch one. Orville and Wilbur. Orville and Wilbur, named after the Wright brothers, are the co-owners of Dodo Airlines, the airline company that allows you to fly from your deserted island to other players' deserted islands. So, yeah, they are pretty much in charge of all of New Horizons' online capabilities. And yeah, you just go down to the south of your island, you go to the airport, you have a little chat with them, and you fly away to other people's little slices of heaven. Animal Crossing New Horizons is such a pure, precious game in every possible way, and its inclusion in Smash continues to be funny because this is an incredibly violent battle in which planes are darting in and out of each other, a la Pilot Wings, cuckoos are being spawned in, and going absolutely ham on anyone who should attack them. That time I didn't even facilitate the cuckoo attack. That was entirely on Wilbur there. So, yeah, this is quite a fight, and I don't even know what happened there. I guess he just got creamed off of a building. Why not? So this is CJ, or Chip Jr. CJ is the son of Chip, who previously ran the fishing tournaments in the Animal Crossing games, and CJ pretty much does the same thing. He's also Flick's partner, be that professional or romantic, it's never made clear, but yeah, they basically serve as counterparts to one another. Flick is the one you go to for bug-related inquiries, and CJ for fish-related inquiries, hence the fish-heavy battle we have here. We have the urchins, we got Starfy, you had Inklings, so squid. And we're fighting against an Isabelle who's spamming her fishing rods. I can outfish you, my dudes. Get outfished. These next spirits come from Daemon X Machina, a Switch game in which you pilot mechs. So this is Radiant Gleam, the mech piloted by the player character, the main protagonist. And this fight has the moon from Majora swoop in. This is because the core conceit of Daemon X Machina is that the moon collided with the planet, irradiating it and corrupting all AI, prompting the need for giant mech fights. And here we have Closter, the mech piloted by the pilot Grief. Grief is the main antagonist of the game and the leader of the Terrors, a squad of evil mech pilots consisting of Grief, Gloom, and Regrets. Gotta love the names in Daemon X Machina. So, yeah, to start this fight off, we are fighting against Doom and Regrets. And once we've dealt with both of them with Supersonic, because who better to take on robots, we then move on to the man himself. We have Closter, the Arsenal, piloted by Grief. You first have to take down the Arsenal, i.e. the Dark Samus here, and then you have to take down the pilots, being played here by a very, very little snake. They kind of do a reverse Olimar here, whereas to put Olimar in Smash, they had to size him up. To have a bunch of mech pilots in Smash, they had to have the mechs be, fighter-sized, and have the pilots be very small, and that's kind of adorable. If they actually put a Daemon X Machina character in to this game, which I doubt it, because that game didn't do massively well financially, yeah, that's how I want them to do it. I want a small pilot in the mech, please. So here we have Bullet Walker, the Arsenal, piloted by the Brigadier General. This is an all-purpose combat mech, but same as the previous battle, we have to take down the Brigadier General's allies before we take him down. That is to say the Scarlet Sword Arsenal, which is piloted by the Crimson Lord, and the Shadowfang Arsenal, which is piloted by Diablo. Just reading these names makes me want to actually sit down and play this game, because what am I missing out on? What am I actually missing out on? From the names alone, I'm kind of sold on this game. So here we have the Highline Arsenal, piloted by the Guns Empress. Okay, sure, why not? So this is essentially a flying arsenal, or flying mech, hence the Ridley with a jetpack, so you got wings and floating abilities. Little bit overkill. And yeah, this arsenal's specialty is long-range tracking and shooting. So to represent the idea of a bunch of lock-on missiles from a long distance, we have Jeff the assist trophy spawning in to get cheap shots on me. But yeah, same as before, with the end of that mech, we now have to just take down the pilot. And the pilots are very, very easy to beat. Even with Jeff coming back in to give me another volley of shots. I've got this. Your move speed may be higher than usual, but I'm Sonic the goddamn Hedgehog. No, sorry, I'm Shadow the goddamn Hedgehog, the ultimate life form. So, I think I got this. Just need a nice, clean shot. There it is. Got it. So here we have the Ring Fit trainers, the protags of Ring Fit Adventure. And kind of like I alluded to in the last episode, when the Ring Fit trainers are in sync with the ring, that is to say the player has the correct heart rates as being tracked by the controller, they go into a heightened state where their hair catches fire, hence the curry effect that just kicked in there. And throughout the game, you do have to collect rings, hence why we're on the stage where you have to collect a lot of coins. Here is Drago. I thought Drago would be played by Ridley, hence why it was Ridley in the last step, but you know what? Giant Incineroar works. He got the swole, he got the muscle. Drago is a big, strong, dark dragon who threatens the fate of the world, and he is big on his gains. He is all about them gains. There is a glut of thirsty artwork of this character, for very obvious reasons. Yeah, Drago is your main antagonist of that game, and you'll notice that he's turned giant and metal. That is to represent Dark Drago, the form he takes right at the end of the game, where you really have to sweat it out to proper beat him. I am half looking forward to LPing this game and burning off all of my quarantine weight, and I'm half worried that I'm going to end up exhausting myself, much to my own embarrassment. We shall see how it goes. Anyway, that is that fight. Let's move on to River City Ransom. First of all is Kunio. Kunio is the main character of the entire River City series. The River City games are the quintessential side-scrolling beat-em-ups, and in said games, not only do you go around and beat the crap out of gang members while they throw wacky bits of dialogue at you, but you also pick up items to beat your enemies with, hence the items spawning in here. And to buff your stats, you also eat food at restaurants, hence why food was spawning in. So here we have Riki. Riki is Kunio's friend. They're all like high school delinquents, so Riki here is quite sporty. He's on the sports team of their high school, and that is always being played by a little Mac, because boxing be a sport, yo. Anyway, these fights can be quite irritating, because to get the River City combat across, these guys are obsessed with just getting up in your grill and just hitting you with multi-hit combos, and that can be very annoying. Akuma doesn't appreciate that kind of nonsense, so Riki, you gonna have to die real hard. There we are. Next up we have Goda. Goda is another high school delinquent. He's very good friends with the younger and more impulsive student, Godai. So, representing the two of them, we have a Donkey Kong and a Diddy Kong. But we just need to take down the main man. And here are Ryuichi and Ryuiji. These are a pair of kids known as the Dragon Twins. They have quite a penchant for flying kicks, hence the side Bs that they're spamming. They are very loosely based off of Billy and Jimmy Lee from Double Dragon, so everything about this fight just screams early 90s beat 'em up, and I love it. Do you know what else I love? Platinum Games. Here are the Astral Chain spirits. So, Astral Chain, great game, incredible game. And in said game, you play as a futuristic anime cop who, not to mince words, is a stand user. They summon legions, which are incarcerated aliens, in order to fight other aliens, or chimeras, who have emerged from the astral plane. Hence why this fight had a black hole appearing in it. So, yeah, Shulk is the Sword Legion, Zero Suit is the female playable protagonist, and the Zero Suit here is prone to using her laser whip to represent the eponymous astral chain, the chain that binds the user to the Legion. Here is the male protag, who is teamed up with the Bow Legion, and as a massive love letter to Platinum Games, you'll notice that not only have I gone from playing as a Bayonetta character to Raiden from Metal Gear Rising, but the music playing is from Star Fox Zero, which granted is their worst game, but it is still a Platinum game, so there's that commitment. Anyway, here we have Kyle. In Astral Chain, Kyle is the leader of the Hermits, a hacker group. You essentially have to deal with them throughout the course of the campaign, and yeah, they have quite a penchant for explosions, hence why all of these sheiks are so prone to using their bombs. And yeah, after you've dealt with the hacking group, you then have to deal with Kyle himself, so yeah. What I also like about this battle is that we're doing it on Newport City, which gets across the kind of cyberpunk, neon lights aesthetic of Astral Chain's world. Anyway, Kyle here, being played by Cloud, could be quite a problem with such a big stage, if not for the fact that I landed the most sick shot ever here. Hell yes. Here is Lappy. Lappy is the cute doggy mascot of the police departments in Astral Chain. The Lappy mascot appears in the tutorial of the game and keeps jumping in out of absolutely nowhere, freaking you out. Hence why we have Isabelle turning invisible periodically. And yeah, the music playing is from Balloon Fight, because in Astral Chain there is a minigame called Lappy Balloon, in which you have to deliver balloons as Lappy. Adorable. Here is Cuphead, the titular main character of his own game, which itself is a love letter to 1930s animation and brutally hard old video games. So yeah, Cuphead is a living nightmare to play. I cannot stand it, but I totally respect it. Anyway, this actual spirit battle is an interesting one. First of all, we have to deal with a bunch of peaches, all of whom have kind of a penchant for rooting up turnips, and that is in reference to the Root Gang, Motato, Weepy, and Psycarrot, early game bosses, before, you know, Cuphead will actually turn up himself. But if you've not purchased the Cuphead outfits and music DLC, then instead of fighting the actual Cuphead, who is here now, represented by me Gunner, you instead fight a Mega Man, because that's the closest thing to in the base game. And Mega Man is also a brutally hard old video game in which you run and shoot, so yeah, this is a fight that can play out in multiple different ways depending on how you've approached it. So yes, I have paid actual money to give you the fullest experience with this LP. Sub to my goddamn Patreon. Anyway, here we have Mugman. Mugman is Cuphead's best mate and sidekick, and player 2. So in a co-op playthrough, you play as Cuphead and his pal Mugman, and that's what this fight is. You're taking on both of them. They both have screw attacks to represent the jumping animation in Cuphead, where they do really, really cool, sick flips. And yeah, throughout this fight, their final smashes are going to start kicking in. This is to represent the super arts in Cuphead. So these are basically your supers that allow you to fire big, powerful lasers across the screen. And yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to have to deal with in a second if I don't deal with these guys sooner rather than later. Yeah, this fight can actually be quite tricky. It's only a 3-star, but you're taking down 2 enemies and they have a final smash. Same as before, if you don't have the Cuphead outfit and music, then instead of the 2B gunners with this music, you get to fight against 2 Mega Men with generic jazzy music. So yeah, it's just not the same, you know. It doesn't feel like the Cuphead Spirit Battle unless it's actually Cuphead. So yeah. Now where's my goddamn Sans the Skeleton battle? You better give me that. You better give me some more Undertale rep in this. I swear to God. Anyway, here we have the Devil. The Devil is the Devil, the main antagonist of Cuphead, who they're basically trying to get out of their deal with said Devil so he doesn't take their souls. And in the big final boss fight against said Devil, he attacks you with bombs, he wields a big trident or scythe here, and he gets more powerful as you get further into the fights. Last of all, for Cuphead, we have King Dice. The secondary antagonist, King Dice, is all about luck. So for this fight, you have a bunch of Mr. Game & Watches to represent his dice, and they will spam their judge and try to get a 9 on you to insta-kill you. And on top of that, we're battling on WarioWare, a stage which is also almost entirely based on luck. So kind of perfect. Time for the Three Houses DLC. So I have actually played this game, and I love the hell out of this game. I do not need a co-commentator for this one. Here is Dorothea. Dorothea is a mage, and she appears in the Black Eagle's house, that is to say, Edelgart's house. She is quite fond of using thunder magic, hence why we have a Robin who will be spamming thunder throughout this fight. But on top of that, she was also a songstress before she was initiated into Garreg-Mach Monastery. So we have a bunch of Jigglypuff here, all singing to get across her penchant for singing, and that's kind of adorable. And of course, in the background, you've got Edelgard just standing there, because, you know, that's her house leader. And we're battling in the main lobby of the monastery, because that's where she's most likely hanging out on any given day. Here is Ingrid. Ingrid is a member of the Blue Lion's house, that is to say Dimitri's house. And she is a very, very devoted and practically minded knight. That said, she does have one vice, and that is food. So for this fight, you have Lucina representing Ingrid, and a bunch of food all spawning in to try and distract her from the fight. Also Dimitri and Dedu just kind of chilling there. And the Gatekeeper, lest we forget the Gatekeeper. Here is Hilda. Hilda is a member of the Golden Deer house and is very, very loyal to Claude, the leader of said house. So much so that Claude is actually going to be helping her in this fight, with Lorenz standing in the background being bloody useless. So yeah, for this fight we have this villager representing Hilda. This villager has a penchant for using the axe, much like Hilda does. And over time, attack power is increasing. That is because after the big 5-year time skip that happens in Three Houses, Hilda goes from a lazy layabout to one of the most dedicated and also incredibly dangerous members of your army. So don't mess with this girl. She gon' axe you if you do. And yeah, I kinda love Hilda. Anyway, next up we have Setith. Setith is a loyal member of the Garreg-Mach Monastery. He's also the older brother of Flayn and is very, very protective of her. Like, upsettingly so. So for this battle, we start off against Flayn, who is being played by a villager, just small, innocent, and naive. And then Setith comes in all strong and angry and murderous because you hurt his little sister. On top of that, this fight is timed. The reason for that is that if you decide to, big spoilers ahead, betray the church in the second half of the game, then there is a chapter, I believe it's chapter 14 or 15, in which you have to fend both Setith and Flayn off for X amount of turns. So yeah. And, yeah, the person who facilitates that betrayal is the main antagonist of Three Houses, Edelgard. Edelgard is the young empress of the Adestrian Empire, one of the potential final bosses of the game, depending on whether or not you ally with her. And, yeah, she's also the user of the legendary hammer, or axe. It's more of a hammer, really. Emir. So, for this fight, we have Byleth spamming the shit out of this move, which is devastating, but also very counterable. And, yeah, there she is. After upgrading her, she becomes her full Empress form. That's Edelgard, a very controversial character. You would not believe the amount of discourse surrounding her. Here's Dimitri, one of the less controversial of the Fire Emblem Lords. Dimitri, leader of the Blue Lion's House, is the young prince of the Kingdom of Fargus. He wields the lance Eridbar, and is almost always accompanied by his retainer, Didu. And, yeah, Didu is a big hulking monster of a man, hence why we have the big slow Ganondorf getting in there and trying to give me all the business. Also, you notice that I'm playing the rest of these fights as Edelgard, because turning on everyone and murdering everyone as Edelgard is the most Edelgard thing possible, really. It's kind of fitting, so yeah. Anyway, same as before, we can promote that spirit to get the older and more ragged Dimitri. Punished Dimitri, if you will. And last of all, we have my guy, the house leader that I teamed up with on my first playthrough. We have Claude. Unlike the other two, Claude is simply a noble, you know, said to be a prime minister, but that's kind of it. So he has to get through life by being a little bit more of a schemer, a trickster, hence the poisonous flaw. He's also an archer and wields Failnaught, a giant bow that shoots light arrows. So, last but not least, we have Rhea, the Archbishop of Garreg-Mach, and the daughter of the goddess Sothis. So, in the Silver Snow route of the game, that is to say, the route where you volunteer to teach Edelgard's class, but don't go through with the whole betrayal, the final boss of the game is Rhea's true form, which is a giant goddamn dragon. In true Fire Emblem fashion, a human who takes dragon form. She is referred to as the Immaculate One. So, this is a fight against the Immaculate One, and if not for the really awkward hitbox on Charizard, I'd have finished this fight in style. But I keep getting burned and I keep trying to get close. I'm just going to shoot you. Okay, no I'm not. There we go. I'm just going to jab you. That works too. Okay, yep, there is one more Fire Emblem Three Houses spirit. It's Sothis, the goddess of Fodlan, the goddess of the world of Three Houses. And early in the game, Byleth is connected to this goddess, sees her in his or her dreams. And yeah, after a certain incident in which Byleth basically is, you know, a scrape away from death, Byleth and Sothis become one. Byleth is the human vessel of Sothis, the goddess. Hence why Byleth is able to rewind time. In the game, if you're struggling in a fight, or if you've just lost or gotten game over, you can rewind time using your goddess powers, which is implemented in this fight, making it an incredibly effing hard fight. Because you have to win it twice in a single stock, and yes, that is what the Sothis Spirit does for you if you equip it. It allows you to fully heal yourself after taking 100 damage. Yeah, this is essentially a fight against Byleth, fully powered, and loads of thoughts have just come to my head. If Byleth is Sothis, then why can Byleth marry Rhea, even though that's now Byleth's daughter? Also, why can you marry Sothis? Because Sothis is you. That's like incest but for yourself. And that's not even getting into the potential for child grooming in that game. Three Houses has a lot of potential to be gross. It's up to you, the player, not to take it. So here is ARMS. Nobody in the world has played ARMS. I asked people to join me for this and no one could because no one's played this. So, whoops. I'll do this myself because it's a fighting game and fighting game characters aren't that complex. So, this is Ribbon Girl, pop singer who is good in the air. And you'll probably notice we've already got this spirit, we summoned it before. But now she has a full-on battle because of Min Min's inclusion. And Min Min is a very interesting character because Min Min was already in this game as a spirit battle. So I'm currently playing as Min Min wielding Min Min. And so far, no other character can do that, so yeah. Anyway, here is Ninjara. Not only is Ninjara a character who previously could be summoned, but also, this spirit battle is different depending on whether or not you've bought his costume. If not, he would be played by a Greninja. Another ninja. Here is Master Mummy. Master Mummy is a heavy character from ARMS, and as you can tell by his general aesthetic and name, he is in fact a mummy. So, he is a dead guy who was brought back to life by science. Because science gonna science. And he wants nothing more than to find his wife and son. Despite being a scientifically engineered horror, he's a family man. And I can respect that. Good for you, Master Mummy. Get blown up. There we are. So, next up, we have Mechanica. Mechanica is the only fully human character in the ARMS roster. Every other character is either fully inhuman or has the ARMS mutation, has naturally occurring giant extendable arms. Mechanica, she's just a massive ARMS fangirl and made herself eligible for the competition by means of a power suit. And I love and respect that. Good for her. Here we have Bite and Bark, Robot Cop and Robot Dog. Bite, the robot, is not a particularly good fighter. He's actually quite mediocre stat-wise, but that's the rub, really. He's all about utilizing his dog to his advantage, so kind of like with the Ice Climbers in Smash, you are controlling two characters, and you have to use them in tandem. Here we have Kid Cobra. Look at this rad mofo. He's doing a sweet capoeira breakdance while kicking up his skateboard, or, to be more exact, his snakeboards. So this guy is a snakeboarder and a streamer. He wields a drill-based arm referred to as the Slammermander, hence why he had a drill just there. And he also has an arm that he can change to called the Clapback Shield. That is why we have all these bumpers here. So for this fight, I'm going to take all of the advantage of the items spawning in, and I'm just going to make this... Oh, God. Oh, God, that didn't work. That didn't work. I'm going to make this stage unplayable. I'm going to make this fight untenable. There we go. Get dinked. And now that you're struggling to even stay on here, I get free hits. There we are. Here is Helix. Helix is a fully artificial humanoid made entirely out of some kind of gelatinous slime. Kind of like Dark Samus, so perfect casting. And also ditto. Very good casting on two accounts there. Double respect for that, so yeah. Anyway, Helix is the character that everyone seems to dunk on, I've noticed. Like when they were saying an ARMS character is getting in, everyone joked that it would be Helix. The joke being that Helix apparently sucks, and I was rooting for you. I was rooting for you, underdog. Anyway, here we have the champion of the ARMS Grand Prix. We have Max Brass. Max Brass is a big, strong dude. And much like the K. Rool playing him, he does in fact get super armor. So, for a game of ARMS, that feels OP, but that's just my personal opinion. Anyway, Max Brass, even when you play as him, is incredibly good at turning battles around because when he is under duress, he gets more powerful, and you can absolutely use that to your advantage. And that is why we have the extra condition of this K. Rool getting stronger when the fight has gone on for oh so long. Although, that may also be a reference to what happens at the end of the Grand Prix, in which he gets possessed by the game's real main antagonist, a robotic abomination, a living weapon named Headlock, who can clasp onto the head of any arms competitor and possess them, whilst bestowing them with a bunch more prosthetic extendable arms. So yeah, this fight's really effing hard to represent all of that. This K. Rool can absolutely body you in just a few hits, but despite having lost this many times by this point, in my head I was like, I have to end this with the final smash. I have to. It would feel so wrong not to. But I couldn't get it out in time, so never mind. Screw all y'all. If you want to see the final smash, you can look it up yourselves. See you later.